If lizard people are in charge, then why hasn't someone sent me my registration letter yet? Ugh! I hate being ignored. Hi! Welcome to whatever this is. My name is Reuben Kaye, actress, model, and international house of pancakes. And tonight, I'm drinking responsibly, which means I'm drinking heavily, but close to a toilet. Are you dehydrated from all the crying? Global pandemic got you feeling a little down? Well, you're in the perfect place. Welcome to Unwind, the guided meditation for the end of the world. The only guided meditation with a wine pairing. Consider this your weekly attendance at church. There's ritual, prayer, we've all spent a lot of time on our knees, and there's a hungry, insecure, egomaniac at the center of it who may or may not be real. Spoiler alert, it's me. Hello, my ISO ladies. Well, it's week 8, and trust me, I know. I really know. I hear your screams and hollow cries. I see you looking at your family thinking, if I'd have known I was going to isolate with my children this long, I would have sold them all as irregular footballs. But trust me when I say this, the market for irregular footballs is not what it used to be. And now that churches all over the world have all but shut down, neither is the market for children. After just over 56 days or more of madness-inducing isolation, we're all coming to the sharp realization that the people we've elected to lead us through this unprecedented time are about as suited to office as a leg of lamb is to the role of Annie in the Broadway musical Annie. Although, I would definitely pay to see Annie the musical starring a leg of lamb in a red wig. And I know some of you may be doubters. To some of you, the concept of me running a guided meditation is about as good an idea as Pol Pot running a kindergarten. And you'd be right. Putting your mental health in my hands is about as clever as putting a nervous toddler into the arms of a British nanny. But, as Jennifer Lopez once said to me in her dressing room, how did you get in here? She actually got quite violent. No, it's just scary how very talented people can be so unhinged. Since we began these guided meditations / healing sessions / blatant cries into the void, I've become somewhat of an online celebrity, which is almost like being a real celebrity, but not quite. I know this because Google Alerts told me there's been a spike in searches for my nudes on the internet, some of them by other people. And I'm here to say stop. Stop going through convoluted loopholes and searches on the dark web trying to objectify and sexualize me for your own sick personal pleasure. I'll just give you the link right now. paypal.me/RRK entertainment. All images in high res, of course, so you can really see every tear. Now, nope, I won that round. Let's move on to the wine. Yes, I hope you're playing along at home. Get that wine out of the cellar and put the kids in it. This is your time. Tonight's wine is this shit. It's red, it's liquid-ish. It was $5 off the back of a truck in an alleyway coated in DNA, but at this point, what does it matter? The gaping, sucking hole inside me is so big now, a small German family from Dusseldorf has moved in and is setting up an artisanal bakery, which is great, because they're finally making a profit from all my surplus yeast. Welcome to Glutentag. It's not just a charming little red you could serve with crudités at a casual gathering. You can also snake a drain with it, or carpet bomb Yemen. Fun! Oh, spicy. Is it meant to be spicy? Why is it spicy? Now, let's get to business. On with the meditation. Or, in the words of the wonderful Dalai Lama, let's fuck this puppy. You're going to need to find a place, physical or mental, where you can escape any distractions or irritations. Anything that takes you out of the mind palace we're all building together right now. It could be a lover questioning your choices while deflecting accountability. It could be a postman delivering your 25th Amazon purchase to date just after you signed an online petition insisting Jeff Bezos pay his taxes. It could be a child playing in an inch of water, which I think we can all agree is terrible, because you need enough water in the pan to cover them if you want to poach them correctly. Just find a place where you can breathe, where you have space around you that is just for you. This is your time. Remember, this is your pandemic. Find a comfortable resting position. It can be upright, semi-supine, or splayed out on the cool of the bathroom tiles in a position me and the other yogis call the full Courtney love. And we breathe in through the nose and out through any hole you have available. Just make sure you're sitting on something absorbent. Oh God, oh, this wine hits the back of your throat like an overeager college student. But it goes down like an overeager college student. Now, acknowledge your breath, and with that, your body. Your body. It's yours. Yours alone, unique and special. All its imperfections, its dents and scratches. Through all the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that have befallen this collection of tubes and wiring that gift wrap your collection of addictions and neuroses like an autumnal hamper of despair. This perfect yet imperfect thing we call a body that will ultimately return to the earth and be consumed by worms. Take comfort in the fact that one day you might actually be a worm. And although small, blind, and low on the food chain, the humble yet noble worm has 5 hearts. They also have 2 heads and can fuck themselves. So, sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And feel that breath run through you, filling you with light and warmth. Imagine the breath moving along the pathways of your body, standing every hair on end as it passes, energizing you, lifting you, raising you above the mire of the everyday into a higher plane of calm and happiness, where the bullshit of the modern world just falls away and leaves you untouchable. You are safe. You are loved. And isn't that better? God, if this wine were a movie, it would be Pitch Perfect 3. And now we are in our elevated place. We're in an elevated place of acceptance and love. And like me at 16 after a big meal, it's time to purge. It's time for our breathe in and fuck offs, where we take the week's stresses and release them from our sphere. It's the way I've managed to monetize avoidance. But if I'm admitting it, how am I avoiding it? There's a reason I'm single. So take the week that's been. It's not great, is it? But in moments like this, I remember the words my mother said at my birth. Where's the ashtray? Sadly, the news is never ending. Unlike my father's love, but very much like the well-hydrated twink who visited today, it just keeps coming. Australia has relaxed its restrictions slightly, leading every citizen in Melbourne to just forget that we are still in the middle of a pandemic, which seems a little premature, but if you look closely, is actually massively premature. In fact, it's so premature, the entire population of Australia is in a metaphorical humidity crib with a metaphorical obstetrician looking away and shaking his metaphorical head. Look, it's not great, but it's week 8 and the bar has dropped faster than my jaw in an All Blacks dressing room. Now, Peter Dutton, Minister for Home Affairs and the Pennywise of Australian politics this week, took advantage of the lack of scrutiny during the pandemic to pass yet more authoritarian legislation regarding asylum seekers and refugees, allowing children as young as 4 to be separated from their families and interrogated. This from a man who openly joked that Polynesian and Pacific Islanders would all soon drown as the oceans rise in Parliament. I'm not saying he's pure evil, but this is a man who looks at the banality of evil as assigned reading before the practical exam. Disregard the fact that his shiny bald head reminds me to polish my butt plug daily. This guy is dangerous. It's as though Mr. Potato Head was voiced by Goebbels. The man voted most likely to sell his soul for endless power thinks that this pandemic is merely a strategic cover for his own racist, megalomaniacal agenda, making him the Lady Macbeth of the ACT. Breathe in and fuck off. On Saturday, Brazil overtook Spain and Italy to become the nation with the 4th largest number of infections. President Bolsonaro, frontrunner for Palpatine of the Year award, made a speech calling for a national rollback of coronavirus restrictions. Despite the rapidly rising infection rate, Mr. Bolsonaro argued that most people, including himself, had nothing to fear from the virus, claiming, and I quote, "With my history as an athlete, I would have no reason to worry. It would be, at most, just a little flu." As thousands of his people lay dead at the feet of this disease, Brazil's hospitals are on the verge of collapse as Bolsonaro doubles down on what has proven to be a worse response to this virus than Channel 4 TV execs to my pitch for a gay courtroom drama entitled Fudge Judy. So to Bolsonaro, and to those TV execs, I say breathe in and fuck off. Moving on to the rest of Latin America, Panama and Peru enacted rules this week, ordering that men and women can only leave their homes on separate days. Women are allowed to leave their homes to buy necessities on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and men on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, while on Sundays, everyone has to stay at home. This gender binary approach to lockdown has confused the rest of the world and sadly has led to open discrimination of Latin America's sizable trans community, especially in Panama, where a large proportion operate as sex workers. And while sex work is legal in Panama, it comes with a heavy stigma. And now shops are refusing to serve trans women if they're out on female days or not dressed as the perceived correct sex. I am saddened but not surprised. The ripples of this pandemic mean that marginalised communities slip through the cracks or bear the brunt of the majority frustrations. And sadly, there is little support. But the good people at Outright Action International are working throughout the world and especially in Latin America. I will be donating 50% of this week's PayPal donations to Outright Action International and to governments who view any marginalised community as less than or dispensable or collateral damage, or that trans people are undeserving of the same rights and protections we all take for granted. Breathe in and fuck off. Fuck off all of it. Any frustration, fear, irritation, annoyance, inescapable dread, just fuck it all off. Keep breathing, keep releasing any piece of negativity you find, no matter how small. And as you breathe in, remember that warmth and energy from the start of our meditation. Focus on the sound of my voice and the taste of the wine as we bring ourselves up, lifting higher and readying ourselves to receive the good in the world, like tiny golden kernels of corn in the shit sandwich we're all eating. In fact, we might just put away the grapes of wrath for the second, because the gorgeous people at Little Long sent me some gin and they're doing free deliveries at the moment in Melbourne, so get your lips around this, all right? Thank you very much, Little Long. Now, let's have some fun. A Sydney man has broken into a museum after hours and taken selfies with his head in the jaws of a T-Rex skeleton before stealing a cowboy hat and leaving, like the fucking boss lady he is. Now, I'm absolutely not suggesting that we should all be breaking and entering unless it's me you're breaking and entering. But if you're going to do it, absolutely live out the whole Dr. Alan Grant fantasy. Play the Jurassic Park theme tune. Use only your index finger to learn how to open a kitchen door. Constantly blame Dennis. Wear a frill, spit licorice and serve Dilophosaurus realness. Because like my own unhinged ego, life will find a way. It is worth mentioning that the man in question actually turned himself in the next day. So even though he broke the law, to him I say, cheers. A South Korean Oh God, that's good. That is good. A South Korean football team has made a public apology after they used sex dolls to fill stands during a televised game. Yes, you heard that right. No, I will not repeat it. No, actually I will. A South Korean football team has made a public apology because during a televised game, someone made the decision to use sex dolls to fill empty seats. Apparently, people noticed because all the audience were really surprised the entire game. The apology reads, "We would like to apologize to the fans. We are deeply sorry." Don't apologize. This is the shit we need in this pandemic. This keeps us going. Not inspirational tales of the human spirit overcoming adversity. Give me a blow-up, anatomically correct Ken wordlessly cheering with an O-shaped mouth, an inflatable hard-on, and a vibrating flesh jack for a butthole. That's my eternal flame. So cheers, South Korea. Oh. Rival gangs in violence-torn South Africa have miraculously agreed to a truce and begun to deliver food and equipment to those who need it most. Another story that this pandemic has given us a sense of perspective once the framework we use to define ourselves is deconstructed. And I personally cannot wait for the gritty urban Netflix film about two rough, chiseled, tattooed young men from the South African slums who learn to use words instead of their fists, and then as their passion grows, their fists instead of their words. Cheers to everything I've just said. If it made sense or not, that's for the universe to decide. Self-help. And now, we make the conscious decision to bring ourselves back into this plane of consciousness, back into the room, and back into your life, such as it is. Again, if you ever get the feeling that you want to do something to help in this pandemic, if you can't help but look out your window and see suffering and know that deep in your heart you must help, no matter the risk or inconvenience, then my PayPal is paypal.me/RRK Entertainment. As my mother once said to me, you don't have to suck the dick, but you do have to roll it round in your mouth to get the money. But if you're seriously not in a position to donate, then please feel no pressure. If you want to help, tag and share this vid. It would mean more to me than a doctor saying my blood tests came back and the results were human. You see, I know that it's week 8. I know it's been a long time. It's a struggle. And some of you are doing fine. Good. I'm pleased for you. Keep going. Fine is wonderful. Fine is ideal. But there are still people out there struggling. People who feel invisible. People without support networks around them, and they're all around you. They are your sisters, your cousins, the man you pass on the street, your postman. We may be on this journey individually in our own homes, but remember you are part of a whole. And I know wholes. So please reach out if you can, or in, depending on the whole. My name's Reuben Kaye. You've been watching Unwind, and I've been doing it. Under this desk for the last 12 minutes. I've never lasted this long before. It's baby's day out. Do you know, I'm actually not comfortable with that last one, but it's fine. Look, it's done now. It's on the internet, so I just can't wait for me to get cancelled.
Oh please, Mother Teresa never used birth control. Welcome to my downward spiral. Wouldn't it be nice to be in a coma through this? I'm an actress, a singer, and an award-winning cry for help. Heterosexuality's not a thing anymore. I'm the embodiment of gay culture. This is the new normal.